How cute is my mug? New stuff video. New hat to be worn. Yeehaw. Every few months I sort of go through this cycle, right? Where it starts off where I've made something really cool and I love what I'm making. I'm really proud of my thing and I want to photograph it, tell the world about it. And then a few weeks or months go by and I hate it. I hate everything I've ever made. I hate my website. I hate my social media. I hate how I take photographs. You know, it feels like nothing's going right in my sort of creative development or practice. And, you know, where do I end up? I end up in this place where I think, how can anybody take me as a professional? What do they call this? They call this the imposter syndrome. So every few months that happens. I want to share with you today some ways that I cope with this feeling that I'm not good enough, that my work's not right or like well enough. I've got a 10-step string of advice for you. These are things that I do and I have found helpful. They may only be helpful for me. They might not be helpful for you as well. So take them with a pinch of salt. The first thing I do is to step away from social media.
Warning, social media rant incoming.
Social media, wasn't it supposed to like democratize the online spaces and be this really great place that people could share their true interests, and it wasn't economically driven, and obviously it's just become this most insane media machine ever. And the problem you have with that is that there are businesses that have, you know, whole teams of staff on hand to make content all day, every day, make new content, follow new trends and everything. The trends thing sends me absolutely balmy. Like, I don't live in the right part of the internet to even be privy to these trends. I've seen in the last week loads of people making these Brat like bracelets or Brat rings, and them being like, never have so many people before DM'd me about my rings or about these rings. Going to be the biggest drop ever kind of thing. And it's all because Charli XCX wrote this song that's going to be the song of the summer, but that's all she's done. Like, all that's created is this media hype around a song of the summer. You know how long summer is? Summer's about 3 months long. And after that, all of that time and effort that has been put into making this Brat-related ring, Brat-related jewelry, or t-shirt or whatever, it's not going to be fashionable anymore. So why not spend your time working on something that's going to be long lasting and a bit more timeless, and not just like fill the media canon with shite? All of these things said, social media is an awful tool to compare yourself with others, and the pace of it does not reflect what is achievable as an independent artist or creative, but it's bloody great, isn't it? Have you ever felt so entertained? We were born to be entertained. It's the sad truth of it. Our children will be born to be entertained at this point. I really hope something changes. I'm gonna 100% teach mine how to make fires and shoot bow and arrows and skin a rabbit. Be in touch with nature. This brings us on to number 2. The second step to reigniting your creative spark is to get out into nature. What I mean by this is not, you don't need to go on a 10-mile hike and get yourself blisters and not be able to walk properly for a couple of days. But you need to go somewhere that feels like you're not in the city, whether you have a big park near you or whether you need to get a bus a little bit out of town. And go somewhere where you can truly feel alone. You don't feel the hustle and bustle. You don't feel the pressure or presence of other people. When we live in cities, when we live in these lives in our houses, we've built these walls all around us, and we've built these streets as well. And these walls and these buildings, our emotions go out to them. They go out to the walls of the streets, the fronts of the houses, and they come back, bounce off everything. The emotions, the feelings ricochet off everything. Have you ever had an argument with your partner or housemate or even your parents when you're younger, and all you want to do is just leave the space and get outside and leave this room because the feeling is just palpable and inescapable? When you're at home and, you know, maybe some stressful things have happened in your life which are helping to create your creative block, to stuck you in the process of being creative, all of those thoughts and those feelings are running around your house. They're falling off of mirrors back onto you. They're falling off the ceiling back onto you. Everything is just reflective surface for your emotions. Now, if you go into the forest, this is why trees are like mythologically, spiritually, traditionally, the greatest healers, because the trees listen and they absorb. They listen to you when you want to talk about your feelings, and they take your feelings in. If you go outside into actual nature where there's no people and you feel alone, what on earth is going to reflect your emotions back into you? You're going to feel cleaner, freer, lighter. It's the easiest and cheapest way of offloading, to go and sit with a tree. Hell, hug it if you've got to. I think it's really important to hug a tree. I also think it's really important to have a favorite tree. There's a park not far from my house and I have my favorite tree in the park. I'll insert a little photo of it here. I like trees that have the little sort of cubby holes in the trunk where it feels like pixies or fairies or could live, or, a little animal it's pissing it down with rain and this little animal's got lost or separated from his family, or he's on a big journey with his little handkerchief on the thing, off on his little journey, and it's raining and he can't hide under the toadstools because the toadstools aren't big enough, so the little animal has to go inside the little tree cubby hole, and the tree keeps it safe till morning and the sun comes up, and then the animal probably gets eaten by something. But for that one night, I like there to be a twist, I think it's important to not shy away from the realities of our world and be realistic about the processes that take place, that everything is temporal, There is this just beautiful irony in it that I have detested a lot of my life, but now I have come to love and cherish. Number 3 is cleaning your house or your bedroom. I know this won't be for everybody, but I find cleaning one of the most distracting activities there possibly is. If I'm feeling really sad, really anxious, deep cleaning, clean everything. And for the next couple of hours, put some music on, some music that you like, some music that you love, something that usually makes your hips swing, and clean your house, clean your space, refresh, reset. I think it's one of the best things to do. If I'm really feeling unsettled and I don't know, I just want to spice up some new energy in my living space. I want to create this sense of newness, because often a sense of new things will help creativity flow, right? So rearrange your furniture. I did mine last night actually. The table was over here, but I've put the table back by the windowsill. I often move things around because I want to check out what the feng shui is saying in a different way, but I moved it back to how I had it originally a few months ago. I think it flows much nicer. I just want to get some stools for the little breakfast bar. Been here over a year and a half now and never done that. All in good time, darlings, all in good time. Number 4 also kind of relates to what we were just talking about. And it might be more of a personal message for me. Something that I should cherish and I should remember rather than you. But don't cut your hair. My number 5 tip for dealing with your creative block is to re-engage with art. Whether you're into painting, whether you're into performance art, film, photography, anything like this, re-engage with it. Whether that is through practicing it or through going and looking at other people's. But I would actually, when I say re-engage, I would recommend going and looking at other people's. Take yourself down to your local museum, your local art gallery. Check out any places near you where exhibitions are going on, because the best way to gain inspiration is to go and look at other things other people have done. And I think you should listen to your intuition. If your intuition after going and looking at some art says, I'd really like to now paint, but I usually make ceramic pots, go and paint for a few days or paint for an afternoon. But number 6 is, if you're creative, struggling with creative block, if you make money off of your creative endeavor, have some other ways of making money. Have some backup ways, because you don't know when you're going to need to take a step back just for your own brain to reassess, reorientate. I think it's really important. Personally, I am on a bank rota for a hostel in the city, and when they have shifts, they don't always have shifts, but when they do have shifts that I'm available for, I'll sign up to them. Not guaranteed to get them either. And I also look after people's dogs on Rover. It very much is gig economy work, but I'll take it if I can get it. 7. Read, read, read. If you are struggling with creative block and not finding any inspiration or not knowing which way to turn, read some books. Whatever you're reading, whatever information you're taking in to your brain, that's all you've got to do. You've done the hard part, you read the book. Don't spend too much time thinking about it or contemplating it. Because when you go to sleep or when you clean your house and you start thinking about other things, how you go to the pub, have a pint, gossip, talk about absolute rubbish. Whilst you're doing that, all of those things, whilst you're living your life, your brain is putting together all of these bits of information, loading them up, sorting them out, and then when you come back to your creative endeavor, your creative practice, your brain finds this incredible way to like feed that influence, to feed that inspiration. And all you have to do is read a book and it will create the ideas for you. Your brain is working for you whilst you're asleep. Your brain is your biggest asset. Forget AI. Stop trying to use AI for everything. You can't think of what to write on your website because ChatGPT can write it better. I'm sorry, but we have a problem. AI should be doing your dishes and your laundry. AI should not be replacing your true creative spirit of being a human being. Number 8. My 8th tip for creative block or dealing with these feelings like you're not enough with your creative practice is to have a folder of pictures on my phone that are the best things I've ever created, the things I'm most proud of, because it's really hard to remember everything you've made. And I don't post everything I've ever made onto the internet. And I think in that space on the internet, on social media, if you're going through and looking through your portfolio or your archive, because it's on Instagram, because of the mode of presentation, because of where it exists on the internet, there's already like this just inherent expectation of criticism and comparison already there. And also, how easy is it to finish looking at your work and then immediately go and look at somebody else's and be like, oh shit, yeah, mine is terrible. Oh, again. But if you have some folders on your phone, or even if you print out a book and keep a book in your space, your home, your studio, then when you need to be reminded of how great you are, how good at your craft you are, and how proud of yourself you can be, you just have to go and open up the book or open up the folder and take a little look. Make it chronological as well, so you can really see your progression. Put dates in it, remember how much time has passed and how many years you've spent learning, or how many years you've spent developing your ideas and growing as not just a craftsperson or artist, but as a human being. And then number 9 is quite similar. Number 9 is keep a folder on your phone that has nice things people have said about you, your work, your craft, that you can go back to when you need just a little pick-me-up. You can be so mean to yourself. Everyone can. You're really mean, put yourself down. And then just remember, like, if you screenshotted the bad messages and screenshotted the good ones, how many more good ones would there actually be? My number 10 tip for how I deal with creative burnout or not feeling like I am good enough is playtime. Like when you're at preschool or primary school, playtime is really important. During playtime, it doesn't matter what material you want to play with. You just play with something, you make something, whether it's modeling clay, whether it's painting, whether it's still working within your usual craft, but the focus of doing this is to remove all economic expectation. Remember why you do the thing you do, why you love the thing you do. This is not about making money. It's not about creating a new product. It's about expressing yourself and having fun and just enjoying the craft for craft's sake, or enjoying the activity for creativity's sake. If you do all of these steps, you might have to practice them over a couple of weeks or a month. I know creative block can last a really long time, and not everybody has the opportunity to step away from their work entirely. How many gig economy shifts can you reasonably do until you burn out of that as well? Finding time in your week or space in your week to feed in these other activities and think about cultivate newness, cultivate new experiences, do new things, create new energies in your space, create new energies in yourself by going outside. Come back to your work, come back to your practice with your new energies and play. Make it not about financial or economic gain. Just play. Have fun. Joy. Find joy. That's the word. That is the word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the year. Word of the decade. Joy. Find joy, my friends. That's your homework.